Imagine cruising down the highway in a car so rare that people wouldn't even know it existed. Cars with jaw-dropping performance, sleek designs, and stories that seem straight out of a Hollywood movie. The cars you're about to discover never made it into the mainstream. You won't find them at your local dealership or hear their names tossed around in car meetups. In this video, we're diving deep into 10 incredible American car brands you've probably never heard of, from futuristic hypercars to boundary-pushing classics that deserve more recognition. Buckle up, because we're about to uncover some hidden automotive gems. Let's start with one that sounds more like a high-tech gadget than a car. But don't let the name fool you. It's got the soul of American muscle and the price tag of an exotic. Meet the Bass 770, a name that sounds like a cutting-edge piece of audio gear, but it's actually one of the most insane American muscle cars ever made. Picture this, a hand-built car that blends classic muscle car aesthetics with modern performance tech. At a glance, it's like someone mashed together a 60s Mustang and a Dodge Challenger. But when you pop the hood, you realize this thing is on a whole other level. The Bass 770 is built on a lightweight aluminum and carbon fiber body, making it stronger and more agile than your typical muscle car. But the real magic is under the hood. A 6.2-liter supercharged V8 engine, pumping out 640 horsepower. That's enough to rocket this beast to 60 miles per hour in just 3.4 seconds. And thanks to its magnetic selective ride control and Brembo carbon ceramic brakes, it handles curves just as well as it roars down straightaways. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, there's a catch. The price tag sits at $250,000, making it a muscle car for the ultra-wealthy. So, unless you've got $250,000 burning a hole in your pocket, you might just have to admire it from afar. But let's say you're more about raw, unfiltered driving experiences, something lightweight, fast, and borderline terrifying. If that's the case, the next car on our list is what you need. Forget the frills. It's all about pure adrenaline and classic V8 power. Meet the Lucra LC470, a car that feels more like a fighter jet on wheels. It's raw, loud, and built for one thing: speed. Designed and hand-built in San Marcos, California, the LC470 looks like it rolled straight out of a classic racing movie. But don't let its vintage-inspired design fool you. This car is brutally fast. At its heart is a 505-horsepower Chevy LS7 V8, the same engine found in the Corvette Z06. But here's the kicker. The LC470 weighs just 2,000 pounds. That's less than a Mazda Miata. The result? This lightweight rocket sprints from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. And because of its tube-frame chassis, it delivers the kind of driving experience that makes your palms sweat and your heart race. The car's creator, Luke Richards, took inspiration from British lightweight sports cars, but with a distinctly American twist: massive V8 power. Think of it as the spiritual successor to the Shelby Cobra, but with modern engineering. The Lucra is handcrafted, highly customizable, and guaranteed to turn heads and terrify passengers. If you thought the Lucra LC470 was intense, wait until you hear about our next car. This one was built to be as wild as a track car, but street legal. It's a car that looks like it belongs on a racetrack or in a futuristic action movie. Buckle up. It's time to take a drive inside the Draken Spider, a car so wild it makes a Lamborghini look like it's doing yoga. And before you ask, no, it's not a car for catching bugs, but it will catch a ton of attention and make a few speeding tickets along the way. This California-built beast was created by former GM engineer Shinu Mapleton, who set out to make the ultimate street-legal track car. The result? A rear-wheel drive rocket with a mid-mounted 6.2-liter LS3 V8 that pumps out 430 horsepower. Now, that may not sound insane at first, until you realize the Draken weighs just 2,000 pounds. That's 1,300 pounds lighter than a Corvette. In case you're wondering what that means, it translates to a 0 to 60 time of 3.2 seconds. Basically, if you blink, you'll miss it. It's fast, loud, and totally unapologetic. A car for those who believe that helmets aren't just for motorcyclists, but for anyone brave enough to drive this thing. And here's the best part. The Draken Spider is about as close to driving a race car on public roads as you can get. No frills, no nonsense. Just raw speed and insane handling. But what if you're more into cars that sound like secret agents and pack military-grade performance? Well, you're in luck, because our next car has a name that could double as a code name in a spy movie. Get ready to meet the Rezvani Beast Alpha X Blackbird, and trust me, it's as intense as it sounds. Alright, let's be honest. The Rezvani Beast Alpha X Blackbird sounds more like a classified military project than a car. You have to expect it to come equipped with stealth mode and missile launchers. And, well, you wouldn't be too far off. Rezvani is known for building military-inspired vehicles, and the Blackbird takes that philosophy to a whole new level. Under the hood is a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4, developed with Cosworth, cranking out an insane 700 horsepower. That's a lot of punch for a car that weighs just 2,150 pounds. In case you're wondering, that power-to-weight ratio means the Blackbird hits 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds, faster than most supercars. But the Blackbird isn't just fast, it's also ridiculously exclusive. This isn't the kind of car you'll spot in a parking lot. It's hand-built for people who want something truly unique, with the fighter jet vibe and bare-bones aggression. Oh, and if you want that manual transmission feel, Rezvani offers a 6-speed manual as standard, with a sequential gearbox option if you're feeling extra wild. And let's not forget the name itself. Why Blackbird? It's a tribute to the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, one of the fastest reconnaissance planes ever built. And much like its namesake, this car is built for speed, style, and pure thrill. Now, let's step away from sports cars and supercars for a second and talk about a car that was so ahead of its time that most people couldn't wrap their heads around it. The Stout Scarab isn't just a car, it's a piece of automotive history. Designed in 1934, it's often credited as the world's first minivan. But don't picture a boring soccer mom van. The Scarab looked like a spaceship on wheels at a time when cars were basically just boxes with wheels. Created by William Bushnell Stout, an aviation engineer from Detroit, the Scarab was built with a fiberglass body shell, something that wouldn't become mainstream for decades. It also featured adjustable seating, a rear-mounted engine, and independent suspension. Sounds modern, right? The Scarab was way ahead of its time, blending luxury and innovation in ways that other manufacturers wouldn't catch up to for years. But here's the catch. The Scarab cost $5,000 in the mid-1930s, a time when Chrysler Imperial Airflow sold for around $1,300. For context, $5,000 back then is roughly $110,000 today. Not exactly a family-friendly price tag. As a result, only 9 units were ever built. It was too futuristic, too expensive, and just too far ahead of its time. But looking back, it paved the way for modern minivans and crossovers we see today. Now, let's talk about a car that feels like it was pulled straight from a sci-fi movie, the Falcon F7. This isn't just a car, it's a hypercar masterpiece. Hand-built in Detroit by Jeff Lemke, a man who turned his dream of creating a 4-wheeled rocket ship into reality. The Falcon F7 is all about speed, power, and exclusivity. Its chassis is made from a combination of aluminum, carbon fiber, and Kevlar, keeping it lightweight and incredibly strong. But the real headline? The engine. The F7 packs a Lingenfelter-built twin-turbo V8 that produces a jaw-dropping 1,100 horsepower. That's the kind of power that makes Bugatti owners nervous. Even the base model is no slouch. It makes 620 horsepower and can hit 60 miles per hour in 3.3 seconds. But the twin-turbo version? It demolishes 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.7 seconds. That's hypercar territory. The Falcon F7 isn't just about performance though. It's a car that turns heads wherever it goes. The sleek, low-slung design looks like something out of a video game, and its rarity makes it even more special. Only a handful of these cars were ever made, and because very few people know about it, it's one of those vehicles that can pull big crowds at car shows without even trying. Fun fact, despite its insane specs and exclusivity, the F7 hasn't always gotten the attention it deserves. In fact, a rare auction for one of the first production models didn't even meet its reserve price. Crazy, right? Alright, let's shift from adrenaline-fueled hypercars to something a bit more down-to-earth, but no less groundbreaking. Meet the Mobility Ventures MV1, a car that wasn't built for speed or style. It was built to make a difference. The MV1 is the first and only mass-produced purpose-built wheelchair-accessible vehicle. Unlike other accessible vehicles, which are typically just modified minivans, the MV1 was designed from the ground up to accommodate wheelchairs and mobility devices. It features a built-in ramp, extra wide doors, and plenty of interior space to ensure that passengers with disabilities can get in and out with ease. The MV1 wasn't just about accessibility though. It also served as a taxi in many cities. In fact, it became the first purpose-built taxi since the Checker Marathon from the 1960s. The base model started at $40,890, but a fully loaded version with power ramps and creature comforts could go for over $50,000. Unfortunately, despite its game-changing design, the MV1 didn't last. Production ended in 2016, leaving a gap in the market for fully accessible vehicles. Still, its legacy lives on, and companies like Brownability and Vantage Mobility continue to convert vehicles to keep mobility solutions on the road. And if you love classic roadsters but crave modern muscle, then the Pana's AIV Roadster is the car for you. It's like taking a trip back to the golden age of motoring, but with a punch of raw American power to keep things exciting. Launched in 1996 by Don Panaz, the AIV Roadster was a follow-up to his first car, the Panaz Roadster. The AIV in its name stands for Aluminum Intensive Vehicle, which was groundbreaking at the time. Most cars were still made of steel, but Panaz went all in on lightweight aluminum construction, making the AIV Roadster lighter and stronger than its competition. Under the hood, you'll find a 4.6-liter Ford V8 engine, borrowed from the Mustang SVT Cobra, cranking out 305 horsepower. That might not sound crazy by today's standards, but remember, this car weighs only 2,500 pounds. That's sports car territory. It can rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds, delivering a thrilling driving experience with its rear-wheel drive and manual transmission. And it's not just about speed. The AIV Roadster is a true hand-built car with a focus on craftsmanship and unique styling. Its retro look turns heads wherever it goes, and the fact that only a few hundred were ever made makes it a rare collector's item. Fun fact, the Panaz family is deeply rooted in motorsports, and the company has even built Le Mans race cars. So when you buy a Panaz, you're getting a car with some serious racing DNA. Now here's a car that looks like it drove straight out of a Mad Max movie, the Local Motors Rally Fighter. This beast isn't just a car, it's a statement. It's wild, it's rugged, and it's built to conquer any terrain while looking like a concept car on steroids. What makes the Rally Fighter so unique is how it was designed. Unlike traditional cars, which are the results of years of work by a secretive team of engineers, the Rally Fighter was created through crowdsourcing. Local Motors asked their community of enthusiasts to vote on the design, and when the final concept by Sang-Ho Kim was selected, it went straight into production. Under the hood, it packs a 6.2-liter GM LS3 V8 engine, cranking out 430 horsepower. But what really makes the Rally Fighter stand out is its off-road capability. It's street legal in all 50 states, but with its long travel suspension, it's more at home jumping dunes or tackling rugged trails than cruising on the highway. And if you're a fan of movies and games, you've probably seen the Rally Fighter before. It's been featured in Transformers, Age of Extinction, The Fate of the Furious, and even made appearances in video games like Forza and CSR Racing. Sadly, Local Motors shut down in 2022, making the Rally Fighter even more of a rare collector's item. But for the lucky few who own one, it's a car that screams individuality and adventure. Let's wrap things up with a car that's a true underdog story. The Rossian Q1. Born out of the ashes of the noble M400, the Q1 took a British racing legend and gave it a luxurious American twist. The story starts with Dean Rosen and Ian Groons of 1G Racing, who bought the manufacturing rights to the noble M400 after the British firm stopped making it. But they didn't just slap a new badge on it. Instead, they redesigned the body, made the interior more refined, and gave it modern features to create something fast, stylish, and comfortable. The Rossian Q1 is powered by a 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged V6, making 508 horsepower. Thanks to its lightweight construction, it can hit 60 miles per hour in just 3.1 seconds, and has a top speed of 195 miles per hour. Not bad for a car that you had to build yourself. Yes, the Q1 was sold as a kit car, which meant buyers either had to assemble it at home or pay extra to have it built. The handling was dialed in on the streets of Florida, where its chassis designer fine-tuned it on public roads and freeway on-ramps. This unique process gave the Q1 a reputation for being incredibly fun to drive on both the track and the street. The price tag? North of $100,000 if you wanted a fully built version, making it more affordable than most supercars, but still exclusive enough to stand out. Sadly, like many cars on this list, the Rossian brand eventually faded away, but its legacy as a DIY supercar lives on in the hearts of car enthusiasts everywhere. And there you have it, 10 incredible US car brands you've probably never heard of. Some of these brands push boundaries, some faded into obscurity, and some still make us dream about what could have been. But one thing's for sure, they've all left their mark on car culture in ways that few will ever forget. So next time someone says American cars are just about big V8s and muscle, hit them with this list, and who knows, you might even inspire them to hunt down one of these hidden gems. Which one was your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating cars.